my giant book of stuff, and I think I'm just going to talk about Halloween because it's the obvious choice. So I didn't do a lot of trick-or-treating in Texas because when I was little we lived in St. Louis, and I don't know if you know anything about St. Louis, but it's cold on Halloween. Very cold on Halloween. So much so that sometimes it snows on Halloween. So most of us, we had to have two costumes. We had to have one costume for all of the Halloween parties before Halloween. That was, you know, your basic nylon costume. Then you had to have your backup costume in case it snowed on Halloween. And my last year in St. Louis, I decided I wanted to go as a Dalmatian because I was really into 101 Dalmatians. So I had the lighter costume for horseback riding, and yes, it does look as weird as it sounds when a Dalmatian rides a horse. And then my mother, being the creative sort, made me a polyester stuffed animal material, actually warm Dalmatian, which was a good thing because lo and behold, it did actually snow. And then the other tradition that we had in St. Louis is that you couldn't just say trick or treat. If you actually wanted the candy, you had to tell a joke, which was a big deal. And we would all, in school the week before, try to figure out what our joke was, which apparently drove all the parents nuts because we all came around with the same joke and all expected candy. But my favorite joke back then wasn't even a Halloween joke, so mine was refreshing. My joke was, the duck went to the pharmacist to buy some chapstick, and the pharmacist said, "Would you like to pay with cash or check?" And the duck said, "Doesn't matter, just put it on my bill." So, not a Halloween joke, but a good joke as it were. And the strangest Halloween we ever had was my first Halloween. I was about to turn 1, or had just turned 1. It was my first Halloween to have a costume, and it was really fortuitous because my teeth had just come in, and the only teeth that I had were the two on the sides. So I literally looked like Dracula without even a costume. So my parents dressed me up as Dracula, and my dad got fake teeth and also dressed up as Dracula. So we were both Dracula for Halloween. And I've always really liked costumes because it doesn't matter who you are, you can be almost anything, and you can decide, I'm going to be powerful and be a superhero, or like today, I'm going to be the good guy disguised as a supervillain. Or you can decide that you can be really technologically right, and you can add all these moving parts, and of course my whole life is moving parts. So I tend to not go with the technology, although sometimes I do. One year I went as Britney Spears, and all I did was take my dictation mic. I just packed my dictation mic with me and went as Britney Spears. One year I took some Solo cups and taped them to a refrigerator box and went as a Lego. Yep. There's all sorts of creative things that I've done with costumes, and not so creative things, like just painted my face white and went as a dead camper. And I too have understood the reasoning behind Halloween not being very accessible. So I tend to embrace I can wear a costume while handing out candy. It's a lot less complicated, and you get a lot more candy that way. So I've sort of embraced the figure out what makes you happy for Halloween and go do it. So go have a spooky Halloween, everyone.
Thanks, Amy. Last